Welcome to the Classroom Brew podcast. The teacher podcast is a little bit like drunk history. But wait, do you guys actually drink while you record episodes? Yeah. Actually. Yeah. Welcome back to the podcast. This is episode 73, something like that. Let me turn this on so I can actually hear myself when I monitor. Adjust this a little bit. Starting off good again, you can really tell. So some exciting news for you guys this week. Last week, we actually started a Classroom Brew Twitch stream. So we haven't done any live streams or anything like that, but there is an option if you want to watch the videos on something other than YouTube. Some people like watching things on Twitch. So Classroom Brew does have all the video podcasts up to this point, 68, 70, and 72. Those will be up there. And I may or may not put 73 up there as well. But now you know that Twitch also has a Classroom Brew channel. So that's twitch.tv/classroombrew. I'll put that in the show notes so you guys can check that out. It's pretty cool. If you want to reach out as a teacher of Instagram, just shoot me a DM on Instagram, or you can email me, classroombrew@gmail.com, if you'd like to be on the show. The other day, well, by the time this episode comes out, got stuff on the mic. The other day we had a couple snow days. So on Tuesday we were at work for finals week actually, and on Tuesday night we get an email around pretty early in the evening, to be honest, saying that we would not have school on Wednesday due to dangerous conditions, and things would be shifted back one day. We wound up getting Thursday as well. So basically I'm recording this during day 2 of my 2-day snow day, which sounds great, right? But to be honest, now I have to wait a little bit longer for my summer to start. You know what I mean? Which, by the way, speaking of summer and all that, I've got a Revolution Brewing, a little crazy Belgian-style pale ale. Hopefully that'll be good. Seeing the Revolution. And a little crazy guy on the can itself. So it sounds great, right? Because you'd think like, oh, cool, you get to sleep in and all that stuff, which, by the way, sleeping in for me is like 8 a.m. still kind of messed up from, having a productive lifestyle. But, yeah, it's going to suck going 2 extra days into the summer, and that's assuming that we don't have any more snow days. But the other thing, too, is that we had finals on Tuesday. Wednesday was supposed to be the second day of finals, and then Thursday would have been a makeup day. And so some kids, whether if they weren't there that day or maybe they came late and they missed a final or two, we weren't sure, like, are they going to get a makeup day or what's going to happen? Or are we going to be able to push our final grades back because the district needed them by, it was supposed to be Friday, so tomorrow for me, but a week from tomorrow for you. So it was really confusing. And I was getting emails from kids, which is great. I'm glad that they were concerned, asking me like, hey, what happens if I miss the final? When can I make it up? When's all this going down? So that'll be interesting to see. The whole time we were just kind of sitting there patiently waiting, like, all right, it'd be great to know the plan anytime soon. But we did get it eventually, so that's the important part. So I guess my thing too, I forgot to mention this last week for 72. And I don't know if I did cover it. Maybe I did. I don't think so. But I was listening to, it's called Study Hall with Mr. D. And it's Joe Dombrowski's podcast. And they mentioned a thing. This was a couple weeks ago on his episode. I can't remember the name of the guest. I apologize. But they're talking about tropes for teachers. And one of them was dressing for the job that you want. And I thought about it, and I think Joe would agree with this. It seems kind of fake to say that. I understand like the idea of being more ambitious than you currently are. But one, I mean, first off, shouldn't you be respectfully dressing for the job that you currently have. Like, oh, this isn't the job I really want. I actually want to be the CEO of X, Y, and Z corporate. Like, no. It should actually just be real. Like, I dress with a tie every so often. Now, granted, if I haven't worn a tie in like a few weeks, the kids are like, do you have a job interview? Are you leaving? I don't know if that's a good or bad thing that they think that that's the assumption, but I thought about that. Like, really, why is it dress for the job that you want when really you should just be respecting the job you currently have and dressing in an appropriate way as a result? Now, granted, I'm not Adam. I don't wear floral shirts and John Lennon glasses, but I dress pretty nice because I respect the students and the job that I do have. So that was something that I wanted to mention it. I'm not sure what you guys think. I don't think that you need to wear a tie or a dress shirt and pants every single day. I certainly don't. You'll probably catch me on Fridays wearing jeans like I am right now, just being comfortable, especially if there's no students there that day. But that's something that kind of came up for me. Which I don't know. Do you guys even really know what's on Twitch, by the way? I was trying to think about. Let's do a quick little search here. So twitch.tv. I truly don't know enough about it. There we are, twitch.tv/classroombrew. I wish I had the login for that one. No. That's why you got producers, right? I wonder how the hair looks in this here. All right. So featured channels. There's a guy. Oh, Madden NFL 19. Mythic Battle of Dazar. What is this? Oh, this guy's got ads. Okay, so there's like a little. If you haven't been on Twitch, it looks like there's this little chat on the right hand side, and then a video. Oh, it's live streaming. Oh, and guess if the guy is licking his laptop screen. I got to tell you guys, that's not the content I'm going to be offering you, but they do have a cool studio, though, which you haven't checked out. Brian at the Lazy Teacher Podcast, he's been building a new studio in his garage from scratch because, the guy's a carpenter handyman. Or is he Jesus? I don't know. Maybe he shaved his head, and that's how we didn't know that he was him all along. It's possible. So, yes, we do have a Twitch now. Pretty excited about that, the thing about the shirts. The other thing, too, is I love when I was watching this video earlier with Drew Gooden with anonymous quotes or quotes that don't have, like, an author to it. Like, I don't even know. Like, you can probably just search any quote. And I always thought that my theory was that they were embarrassed about who the actual person was. I don't think I've said that on this podcast before. Let's just type in great quotes on the internet and let's just see what comes up. Yeah, so like every champion was once a contender that refused to give up. And it says Rocky Balboa. So like, all right, not a real person, but still part of a movie script. But like, imagine if you just didn't have the name on there and you had no clue who it was. Like let's imagine that it's every champion was once a contender that refused to give up. Adolf Hitler. Like, what if it was one of those? There are two great days in a person's life, the day we are born and the day we discover why. And it's like, I don't know, you pick someone. This is William Barclay, whoever that is. Who is William Barclay? We'll have to look that up later. Start each day with a grateful heart. And it's like someone that is waiting on a transplant or something like that. Like the person that actually said the quote. That was kind of my thought. Like peace and fertility is the key to happiness. Like what if Stalin is the one that actually said that one? That's kind of what I thought. But I love when you see quotes on social media, and they're so deep, or at least they're trying to be so deep, but they're really not saying anything that profound. I can't think of an example. I'll see if I can find one and post it on social media, but it drives me insane. Sorry, bouncing all over the place. But with the snow day, I guess the thing that really concerns me, aside from students taking finals, is attendance is tied to our funding at our school. Probably in most schools, and I'm not sure what they expected. Like, it was cold on Friday and we had school. It was cold on Monday and Tuesday we had school. Like, we're talking like negative 10 degrees on average. And of course, no one really came. Now, granted, it's also an issue of culture and climate. simply if you have low motivated students and it's cold outside and they have poor attendance anyways, well, of course they're not going to go out and brave the elements. Like, what's their motivation for that? So it's funny how it's like, well, why didn't you offer, like, what do you mean? It's not an issue of the classroom or an issue of the school necessarily. It's a district issue. Not every kid gets driven to school every day and then they've got a nice little, enclosed indoor thing for the car to drive through. Like, we have kids that are walking miles to school every day versus kids that get driven or picked up, or they have some, like a bus that takes them right to the front door. It's just something that's kind of concerning to me. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. Normally I wouldn't do 2 recordings in such a short amount of time. That doesn't have a guest, but you guys got the nice little 2-part snow day related episode. So to close this out, I was asked this, and Reddit questions. I'm sorry. That's why I got my phone so rudely as the podcast was going on. So Reddit questions. Sorry, Brian. Well, that's a different one. Would you fail a student for heavily quoting the Star Wars prequels in creative writing tasks? Yes. The prequels, at least. That was from Ask Teachers on Reddit. It's not like I have a hashtag or anything. We only got 2 of this? Come on, dude. Okay. This is from, it looks like a current, no, I'm sorry. This is my first year teaching, and this month has felt like it's never ending. I'm with you there. January is the longest month ever. By the time I get home, I'm so exhausted, all I can do is eat and watch an episode of TV. But I'm wondering what you all do to relax after a hard day. Well, some of us have a podcast, also with video, available on your favorite podcast app, YouTube, and now Twitch. But yeah, I honestly, I thought about this in my routine, and Katie and I were talking about this as well. My routine's really, I will come home, and most of the time Katie and I have alternating schedules. So she works in the evening, I work in your typical, 7 to 4:30 day up at the school. But really, whenever I come home, especially now, it's dark by the time I get home now with the winter coming on. I usually have about 30 to 45 minutes, but it usually gets stretched to about an hour to 2 hours where I should be, getting ready. But I try to go to the gym after that. And by the time I get back from the gym, it's really, I've got like 1 or 2 hours to watch TV, maybe, plan something for the next day. I really should start making my lunch because then I wake up the next morning like, God, it's so hard to get ready every day. And I'm always running a little bit late. Like, just do it the night before, dude. Come on. Decompress, though. I was thinking about this. Like, anytime I have a stressful day or just a kid that is really pushing, I'm like, how do I spin this in a comedic way so I can kind of get through that moment a little bit easier? That reminds me, too. There was a student the other day. See, this is why Reddit's great. There was a student the other day. This is during the day before the day of finals before the snow days were announced. And they basically did their first 2 finals of the day. They came to my class for 30 minutes because they get like a little bit of a lunch, not quite a full lunch period, which is 50. But just to kind of relax and like prepare for their last final. And by the time they leave, they kind of like stuck their head out the door because they heard a noise earlier, and a kid had thrown up in the hallway, like right outside my door. Like, walk out the door, go a few steps, maybe like 4 or 5 steps to your right down the hall, and there was vomit there. And the funniest moment where this one girl, it was so sweet, but also so funny. She goes, "Oh, that's nasty. I hope he feels better, though." Like, that was amazing. That made me think of that. How do we get there? Reddit. Questions. Oh, how do you decompress? Yeah, find a hobby. That's my big thing. Saying that as someone that's doing their hobby right now. Because to me, weightlifting isn't really a hobby anymore, especially now that I coach it as well. It's just kind of part of my day, if you will. So we're good on Reddit question. Yeah. Thanks, dude. We're gonna shift into. I was also asked a question. This was not from Reddit. This was from a student asking, well, how do you make these multiple choice tests? Because for me, whenever I do a summative or an end of unit type of exam, there's usually a writing element and a multiple choice element, just because there's certain things that you just have to cover. And even though multiple choice tests aren't great, it's unfortunately what kids have to prepare for. if they want to move on to the next level of whatever. So what you're going to see is a clip. This was taken the other day, actually, but it's a pure multiple choice test. It's not something I give often. So just take out the element of writing. I know multiple choice sucks, but I figure we'll take a little stab at this question of, how do you write these questions? It was from a student that I think they got tripped up by a question. Not my intention. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to, Speed Racer, I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight into what it's like going through that process. All right. Let's sit down and write this test. Man, they better not cheat on this, I swear to God. All that hard work. You think they'll appreciate this? I think they're going to appreciate this question. This is a good question. Question 1. Let's start off easy here. Let's make the answer option A. They always think that A is the first one, right? If they don't know the question and answer, they should. Oh, come on, dude. This is an easy one. Oh, man, they're going to get this one right for sure, hopefully. You think I went over this 1,000 times? Oh, yeah, usually 1,000 times. They'll definitely get it right on this one. Question 13. Which of the following is not? I'm going to just put the word not in size 18 font. Check that. 87 font. Check that. 104 size font, so they hopefully see that it says not. Maybe I should put that in bold-faced letters too. Question 42. Based on the passage above, maybe I should put arrows pointing to the passage. Even though it's right above it, you can't be too safe, Should I put a reminder that they put their name on the test? How many versions of this test should I make? Did they put their test number on it? Oh, God. They're going to forget. Question 62. Man, I hope they got this far. They only have an hour and a half. Question 63. Option D, all of the above. Man, they're going to think that's the answer. They always seem to think that that's the answer. I can tell you right now, kids, that's not always the answer. You gotta be kidding me. Question 70. Option D. All of the above. Option E. None of the above. Ha! You thought. You're never gonna get that one. Maybe I should put in some encouragement. Kind of keep them going through the test. You can do it. Don't give up. I'll put in Will Smith or something. Should we use memes? No. Perfect. And last question. Option C 4 times in a row. Oh man, you're going to really think they messed up here. Ooh. Done. All right, that's all I had for this week. This was episode 73. So make sure, wear a tie if you want to. It's up to you to decide. But rate and review whatever app you're listening to or watching the podcast in. You can check us out on YouTube. I usually post a bit.ly link. That's a short link. You can also check out other previous full-length video podcasts. Episode 68, 70, 72, and now 73 have been done full-length as a video podcast. So pretty cool, offering different content. You can check those out on YouTube and twitch.tv/classroombrew. That's TWIDCH. If you want some exclusive content, some more stuff like the bit you saw about writing a test, you can check out patreon.com/classroombrew for featured content only available to patrons. You can also reach us, classroombrew@gmail.com, if you'd like to be on the show, or you can direct message us on Twitter and Instagram @classroombrew. Again, listen in, rate and review wherever you listen and watch, all that good stuff. And until next week, class dismissed.